Hello and welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 480. I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
I'm Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. Today is Easter, right? Easter Sunday, if
It
you
is Easter
celebrate.
Sunday.
So
People
that's
might have just celebrated Passover, was this week as well.
and Ramadan is coming up, right?
It is. It starts like the 26th, I feel like. I'm going to be a liar.
Well, it's also just April 12th, so there's that. It's been over a week since we recorded last. It's Laura and I and Amy have just decided that the excuse for everything is that there's a pandemic. So it's like, I don't want to wash laundry. There's a pandemic. Like, it's like, okay, I'm not going to say that because that's political and I don't want to go there, but it's just sort of an easy way to place blame for being lazy. And it's not to make less of the pandemic because it is
A very serious situation.
correct. But I don't know so much about Laura, but I know for me, the past week, it's been very hard to focus on anything.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Like, there's so much going on in the world. Every day, the news is worse. And it's so overwhelming that you just want to go to bed and just pull the covers just right over your head. Or escape to your island and dig up fossils. Or,
If you play Animal Crossing, that's a good way of escaping.
yeah. So, in light of that, I have almost nothing to show. I was also on call this past week, and while it
I
was
was gonna say, I feel like you're being pretty hard on yourself because you were on call for the past week as
I
well.
was, and because of the pandemic and the related furloughs, we no longer get a day off after on call. So, and guess when I found that out? The day I came off call.
Well,
So that was
I'm
super
sorry.
fun. But it is what it is. I'm glad I still have a job. It's just frustrating.
It's taking up a lot more time than what it usually does.
And it's making me very tired. But we are here to at least provide some modicum of companionship and or entertainment. So
There is that.
why don't you start if you aren't in the middle of something at the moment?
I'm brioching, but I can totally start. So I am working on the Chubby Brioche hat by, I believe her name is Lavinia Patricia. I might be mispronouncing that, and I apologize if I am. And it is being knit out of Into the World Handspun. This is some handspun that I spun. It is a 3-ply, and it is in their vegetable medley colorway, and they just did an update. I don't know, when did I buy yarn or fiber? I didn't buy yarn, I bought fiber. Because
Which
fiber
time?
fiber doesn't count in my life. Yarn counts. I'm trying to but fiber does not. I know those two things are related, but there's a pandemic going on. I think it was like the 6th. They did an update, and Jillian Marino had posted about it because she's doing a new spin along. She does sample along. She did one a couple months ago that I participated in, and this new one is all using like the little bits and bobs. And Into the World just happened to do an update with bits and bobs. And so I bought another set of bits and bobs, and they also had a colorway called, it was something about cats. Now I can't remember, but it was very funny, and I didn't.
Hurting.
Herding cats, yeah. I might have it already, but I did not have it in Target, I believe. So I got some Target from them. They also had free shipping if you spend over $50. Leslie knows my obsession
I
with
do.
free shipping. Um, yeah, so I'm really enjoying this knit. I'm not knitting on it a ton, just a couple of rows here and there. I'm a little concerned that I'm not going to have enough. I think I had 120-ish yards of this hand spun, and I have this much left, so I might be okay.
I think you're fine.
It's a brioche hat, and I'm 5 inches in, and I need to get it to, I think, 9 before the decreases. So we'll see. It might just be a little shorter. So that is the first thing on my needles, and those are on size 9 needles. Everything's like on chunky needles, I feel like right now. That's a lie, but I have some other things that are not. Like these socks. So I'm also knitting a pair of Wendy Johnston's toe-up socks with a gusset out of the Owl's Day colorway from Knit Spin Farm. The first one is done.
Mm, looks good.
Thank you. It's very neutral, but I really like it. These ones are for me. And then the second one is in progress. And I'm magic looping these on size 1. These are the Addy Soft Rocket squared needles. This is a Targhee Sport base, so it's nice and springy, and it also is a little bit thicker than like a fingering weight base. She's doing her online farm day next weekend, so I'm
Yeah, it's like
super
the
excited about that.
17th or something.
Yeah, I think it's the 18th is next Saturday.
Like a
Um,
digital festival.
Yeah, and she's been posting really fun little YouTube videos. That might make you happy to watch some
Maybe.
Joanna Spring. I miss Joanna Spring's podcast. It was one of
Me
my
too.
favorites. So
Me
it's
too.
exciting to see a little look at her and Bill and her puppy and all the other animals as well. And this
Lolo,
is, yeah.
Lolo.
Um, and this is living in a Whimsy Stitches bag that I
Hmm.
just carry around. So, and that makes me happy because it's like rainbows and just happiness in general. And Rick's a good friend, so it's nice to I see the bag and I think of him and it makes me happy. Other things on the needles. I do have some afterthought heel socks. I finished the heel. That's what I was working on when I saw you guys. And then I was on a video chat with some friends and was knitting the toe. And I went to Kitchener and I had like 25 stitches on one side and 14 on the other.
Oh my God, you didn't notice that when you were knitting?
Nope, not even a little. So I ripped that sucker back out and now it's back on the needles. This is, I believe that everything is awesome colorway from Mustache. I did not make these match, the tubes match. So they're like Leslie's that I cranked yesterday's that won't match either. So I was going really, really well in the sock machine and I busted out like 4 tubes for Leslie. And of course I'm doing the mustache ones, which are divided in half.
So
And
they'll
I'm
perfectly match.
so they'll perfectly match. And I cranked the first half and it's like 195 repeats, which is pretty long to begin with.
Rose.
Yeah, rows. And then I go to crank the second one and I forgot to move the weight. Totally on me. Like I was just like, I'm gonna bust this out. I'm checking this off my list, and I get to like 160. So one is significantly shorter than the other.
Fine. So for people who don't, the sock machine we have is the Erlbecker Gearhart Speedster. It's the one with the red um, body. And Laura's talking about moving the weights. It's when you crank a sock on the underside of it, you have to, there's a buckle and a weight that gets added to it.
Uh-huh.
And you have to constantly keep weight on it. The weight is pulling the stitches down on the needle because if you don't, if there isn't enough weight on it
It'll
and
pop
tension
off.
on it, it'll pop right off the needle.
And
And
that's
that
like
is no fun.
no, it's not. And then you have to cut your yarn to get it off. And
It's
but I
not
did
terrible. Like you can fix it if it's one or two or even half a dozen stitches, but it
so this was
when it
like
gets
the
bad,
whole
it's just bad.
and I could have maybe fixed it, but I didn't realize what was happening because I was in that zone. I did do oh, what is it? Where it's like it slow or it speeds up what you're doing. So like I cranked for 45 minutes and it made
God,
it into like 40 seconds.
made it to 40 seconds.
Like my phone, like recording it. What's that called? Hold on.
Oh, where you like speed up the time. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
So it's a feature on the iPhone, and so I did that. So if you go to my Instagram, you can see me cranking. I think I sent it to you too.
No, you didn't, but I'll
Oh,
look.
okay. Um, so it's me cranking, and it was really fun. I can't remember what that feature is called. Anyway, so the first sock has a heel in it, which is a black, different color yarn. It's Patton's Croy, and then I'm gonna knit the toes out of this yarn, and then I have what's left of the ball to knit the other toes with, because these are not equal. They're equal right now because I have all this ripped out, but they're not equal in general. Um, and they don't line up, which is fine. They're
Yeah.
for me, so it doesn't really matter, but I need them to be the same length. So, and what else do I have on the needles? Oh, I just cast on my Ursa Minor. I'm playing with this. I'm doing what I tell people never to do. So I swatched this on size 10 needles. The pattern calls for 10 and a halves, and typically I have to go down at least one needle size, and it calls for it to be 11.5 stitches equals 4 inches. Yeah, times 20 rows. And so I got 14, and after blocking, I also got 14 on size 10s. So just going up one needle size to 10 and a halves is not going to take that down to 11.5. So I cast on my size is 55 stitches. So this is not a huge investment either. I cast on the 55 stitches, and these are on the Jimmy Beans interchangeables, the Smart Sticks, the wooden ones. And I'm going to do around 2 inches and see how
So
I like.
you cast on with a size 13, right? Or
No,
11.
buttons.
Okay.
So I swatched in 10s. In the US, there's 10s, 10.5s, and then 11s. I know outside the US, you can get 10.75s,
Hmm.
but that's not. I might have an Addie set. I'll have to look
I feel
if
like
this doesn't work.
you may end up having to go up another size. I don't know if 11s are going to be, if that's enough of a difference
Yeah,
to make that stitch count. But like you said, it's only 55 stitches per row. You're going to do what, 2 or 3 inches, and
yeah.
then measure it at that point.
So
So
less than 20 rows
yeah.
will give me, like, 20 rows should give me around 4 inches. The other thing, though, is I really like the density of the fabric on the 10s.
Hmm.
And I'm worried if I go above 11s,
I mean, that's true.
it'll look sloppy. So then I'll have to play with
What's
math.
the yarn?
So this is Barocco Vintage Chunky.
Okay, so it's going to be a woolly kind of sweater feeling.
Yeah,
Like,
kind of. And the yarn that it calls for, let me just pull up Ravelry.
I asked because like I bought the so Amy Beth did this same sweater, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and she knit it in a linen, and then I really loved how hers looked, so I actually ended up buying the same base and maybe the same color, I can't remember, from Web, and I'm gonna dig it out after we record and swatch with it, because I would like to knit something on bigger needles for a little while.
Yeah.
Um, and mine I intend to be kind of airy, whereas what Laura's looking for is not quite so airy.
So looking at this is the Ursa Minor, and you're gonna knit the Ursa, right? The one with the brioche.
Yeah, okay. I didn't realize they were different. Yeah.
They're slightly different. This one doesn't have the brioche. So the original yarn that it calls for is Ranger Merino Bulky, which is a 90% merino, 10% rambouillet, and it's 140 yards is 100 grams. So this is 130 yards in 100 grams. So this is actually a smidge heavier.
Hmm.
Not like terribly heavier, just those
Right.
10 yards. So I shouldn't be getting super loose, but this does have acrylic content in it. It's a 50% acrylic,
Yeah.
40% wool, 10% nylon, because I want this to go over like dresses that I wear to work with
Right.
leggings,
Hmm.
um, in more like the winter time.
Is it
So
slightly cropped like the Ursa is?
yeah, it's the
Okay.
same thing. The only difference is it's the
Bria.
little sister to Ursa. I'm reading it right now. Um, the only difference is it doesn't have the brioche.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. Yep.
It's storming here, so Buffy had to come in and be with me where it's safe. She's just Michael just let her in. She's down here.
Pearl's right down here
Yeah.
because it was really nasty this morning. Like I was worried that my back, like my kitchen was going to flood because water
Yeah.
kept coming up and up and up, and I was like, ooh.
And Laura's backyard is sloped upward, and it's like the downslope goes right against her house.
Yeah.
So.
And also, like, mud in Mississippi moves, so it wasn't as much when I first bought the property, but because it's got a high silt content,
Mm.
like, soil in Mississippi tends to move quite a bit. French drains are on the list. They haven't happened yet, but they're on the list. Maybe after the pandemic. Um, yeah, I think that's all. So 2 socks, a sweater, and a hat. That is all that I have to talk about.
Is that all?
Yes. I mean, I'm casting on something new later. I'm gonna cast on a little, like, the small version for the boxy, the baby version out of this,
That's
which is
cool.
another crafty girl in, like, punky Aurealis. Because I have 2 coworkers, well, 3 coworkers who gave birth, but since we've been out of school, but one I had already knit stuff and given it to him because I had finished it ahead of time for once.
Yeah.
Um, the other 2 I had not. And the smallest size in the baby boxy, which is not its actual name, but the small version of the boxy for children is 6 months. So if I don't see her until August, it'll still be good. Um, so yeah, one's a girl, one's a boy, and then our friend Jamie from our knit night is having a little girl
Yeah.
in October. So this will work for someone. I'm excited about it. I love Punky's yarn, so I actually knit some with other stuff. There's too many projects around me. I don't know what to work on.
We need to stop being friends with people who make things we want to buy.
That's a terrible plan.
Like that needs to be a rule.
No, that would be horrible. All right, I'm back. I'm brioching again. Maybe
Okay.
even correctly this time.
Woohoo! I love brioche.
I just need
Um,
to get in the swing of things. So
yeah,
you have some stuff that you're working on too, right, friend?
I have a thing I'm working on. Um, so this is the same sweater you've been seeing for a month. This is the Starboard Rock. Um, it is sort of a cross between a Weekender sweater by Andrea Mowry and a boxy sweater by Joji Locatelli. This one is by neither of those people. Sorry, I just dropped half a dozen stitches.
Oh no.
It's stockinette, so it's fine. I can pick them up pretty easy. So this is knit out of Stranded Dye Works in the merino nylon base, which used to be called Oasis. Um, in the ice skating party, and I've only knit maybe an inch since last week. I just haven't really felt like it. It's just stockinette in the round, and then I'm doing a slip stitch every other row at the edge on the sides just to give it sort of a faux slip stitch seam,
Yeah,
just because I like the way that looks.
I like the way that looks too.
So I'm excited about wearing this sweater, but knitting it is just a lot of stockinette in the round,
Yeah,
which I will appreciate when it's done, but
yeah.
it is a lot. Um,
I
so
feel like it's hard to see progress on stuff that
yeah,
is fingering weight sucking it in the round.
yeah, I agree. There's not like milestones.
I mean,
Um,
you do have your markers that you're placing, and I think that's a great plan for that.
Placing another one right now, actually, before I forget. Um, yeah, so I finished, or I didn't finish. I made a little bit of progress on that. I did finish the Knit Spin Farm collecting rocks.
Oh, look at that. See? Those are
Little shorty
pretty.
socks. I'm gonna make a few pairs of shorty socks. I just did a slip stitch heel, and I did them top down. Nothing super fancy.
Now,
But
those are sport weight as well, correct?
they are. So I really, really love Joanna Spring, Knit Spin Farm, her sport weight sock base. It's a Targy base,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really bouncy and just sort of very round, and I just love the way it feels. I love to wear socks made out of her yarn. And maybe it's like a placebo effect just because I love Joanna, but
It's like wearing a hug from Joanna.
I just really, they don't match. They're fraternal because I made no effort to make them match. Um, well, they're close. But anyway, yeah. So now I'm excited because I can actually wear them now that I've shown them to you guys.
Yay.
And the only other thing that I'm working on is I'm warping my loom. A few months ago, I signed up for Jane Stafford, who is a teacher out of Canada, British Columbia, maybe, way west coast, like off of an island off the west coast of Canada. I forget what it's called. But she has these online, she's done weaving retreats forever. And she's got these online classes, and she's now on season 4. That was thunder. I don't know if y'all can hear it.
It just echoed here. Like, that's how close we are, but yet so far apart.
I know. So Jane has got 4 seasons of classes up. In the first season, she starts at the very basics, explaining, what warp and set and weft and end French and all that is. And she also walks you through every step of like how to wind a warp and how to, warp a loom front to back or back to front, and what all the different pieces mean and how you can sort of rig things to work different ways. And it's a very approachable way of learning because you watch, a 10-minute video.
Now,
And
is
then
this a floor loom or rigid heddle or both?
it's floor loom. Well, it's a multi-harness loom. So
Okay,
it could theoretically be a table loom if it's a multi-harness table
but
loom.
not a rigid heddle.
Not rigid heddle, no. It's intended for 4 or 8 shaft looms. So I've got the Wolf Pup from Shocked, and I've also got an AVL loom that Laura's mom gave me that I haven't spent nearly enough time on, but I have a terrible time dressing a loom, and it's all in how I wind the warp, really. And I didn't do much better on this one. I tried, but I did not succeed. But this
So,
time I had.
do you have like a warping board?
I have a warping board, but I also have a warping mill that your mom gave me.
Mm.
That's kind of like, it's kind of like a skein winder, but with big long pegs that you can wind a board. It's like a warping board that you can turn in a circle that you can measure out much bigger warps.
Yeah.
When I had to measure out a 10-yard warp, and so I had to take several breaks because it takes forever.
Hip
And
Strings has been doing one on live, and it's taken her like 2 to 3 weeks.
yeah, it's crazy. And every time you go back to it, if you take a break, your tension is slightly different, and that changes how the threads lay. And like I'm using cotton, so it's got a little bit of stretch to it, which is not wonderful in a warp. But anyway,
But it
uh,
is for what you're making, right? Are you making
I mean,
towels or something?
no, I'm winding a warp for a sampler,
Okay.
which is like basket weave and twill. So it's just black and white sampler. I linked it in the show notes. But if you have a floor loom and you're interested in like basically learning it as if someone was sitting there with you and teaching it in a very like your grandmother handing knowledge down to you kind of way,
Mm-hmm.
Jane Stafford's online courses are great. So there's a lot of stuff I want to do from her courses, but I decided I would just start with a sampler and go from there. So I finally got it on the back beam of the loom, and now I have to thread the heddles. And I just had to take a break from it last night. It was driving me crazy. So
I
anyway,
understand.
That is all that I'm working on.
Liz Gibson's got a really cool thing going on with Rigid Heddle right now.
It's like a weave along, right?
I think so. I'm not huge into weaving. I love the idea of weaving. I have a flip from Shocked that
Yep.
Leslie warped for me like 2 years ago. But part of me taking a break from doing House Cup is I'm taking a break this term. I won't be playing this term. Is doing things like Leslie warped that for me, so it would never count for me for points. So being able to get help from friends, but also who are better at things than I am, but also just enjoy some crafting.
Yeah.
Um, but I love all the cool things people do on with weaving, especially like the floor looms, which I don't have, but the rigid heddles are super cool.
Mm-hmm.
And Liz
You
has
can
a
do a
Patreon and some
surprisingly
other really
large
cool
amount
stuff.
of things on a rigid heddle. If you've got patience, you can do a lot on a rigid heddle.
Yeah, and the flips like can go like 25 inches wide or something, or 20 inches wide. So you can almost do a baby blanket. I mean, you could do like a car seat blanket for sure.
Yeah, or you can also just weave one long warp and then cut it and seam it together.
See? And my friend Leslie likes to sew. So we should do something like that for Jamie. That would be cute.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
We could do it and people at Knit Night can purchase, like they could weave for her. That
Oh
would
yeah,
that
that
would
would
be
be
a
fun.
cool way of doing it.
You
Let's
can warp the
let's
loom and just let anybody who feels like it just weave a little bit while
yeah.
they're there.
I'll talk to people about that. That means I have to weave my scarf that's on there maybe this week. We'll see. Um, I need to look at bobbins that I have and shuttles that I have because I wound some yarn that I wanted to use as my weft on bobbins, but then those bobbins were too big for any of the shuttles that I had.
Yeah, but then I thought we ordered a shuttle, didn't we?
No. Mm-mm.
Hmm.
But that's okay. We can still order a
Yeah,
shuttle. Did you place that Woolery order for the
did
fail
not.
hat?
So we
Okay,
could put
maybe
it in.
maybe we can think about that because they do the slim shuttles. And Shocked was doing purple shuttles last year for their anniversary, so they might actually have some in stock.
Maybe.
What? Um, I don't even know. Was there anything else you're weaving? Was there anything
I
else?
no.
No?
So you finished a hat, right?
Yes, I did. It's a baby hat. Don't get too excited,
Still.
y'all. It is the 7th pattern. And I was just looking for a cute little baby hat. I had some of this Another Crafty Girl Merino DK left over from another baby project. And so I just searched for basic DK weight hats, and this one popped up, and it pops up a lot. It's a free pattern,
Hmm.
and there's a reason why it's free, and we'll get to that in a second. And it's cute. It's a basic stitch pattern that's kind of like, and it's sized, I think, two different sizes maybe. Let me click on it. The nice thing about like, oh, can I not click on my links? There we go. The nice thing about us recording on Skype again is I can fact check myself as we go. Okay, so it comes in 3 sizes. A preemie, a newborn, and a larger newborn. And I did the largest newborn size. And it's supposed to fit 35 centimeters, which I believe is around 14 inches. It might be a little bit different. This is by Kelly Van Niekerk. And what she does is she offers like typically one thing for free, and then the other ones you have to pay for, like the other sizes. So I've knit other things by her, like Wee Mories by her. That's a bonnet that I've done several times. Um, I feel like Baby Vertebrae might be hers. Let's see. I might be making that up. I did Conscious by her for Becca's little one. Yeah, she's got the lemur cardigan. That's super cute. Nope, not baby. Oh, maybe. I can't tell. And there's 3 pages of, so she does a lot of kids knits. Oh, newborn knits. Here I can look. Yeah, newborn vertebrae is hers. And so is that Purpurium cardigan is
Oh,
also
yeah.
hers. And she's got some really cute stuff. What I don't like about this hat is the top. Instead of doing like a shaped top, it's just knit two together all the way around for 2 rows.
Oh, so it's
So
not gradual. It's a
it's
very
not gradual, and it caused it to be,
puckered.
yeah, it's very puckered and it's almost like holy there. Like I had to weave in the end quite a bit. It's also not in pattern. So like the pattern just stops.
Yeah.
And there's 3 rows left, so it's not a big deal. But if I was going to knit it again, I would figure out the math to make it a nice
Gradual.
gradual. And if I put this on like my hand, see, you can kind of see
It's just not as elegant as you would like.
yeah, and it's not going to anyone specific really. It's just going in the baby box. So I'm not super worried about that.
That's a
And the
box
next,
where you keep your babies.
yes, all the babies that I collect. I'm very chitty chitty bang bang up in here.
Never saw that movie, so I have no idea the reference, but
Oh my gosh.
I know.
We need to watch that together later. It's got
My
Dick
parents
Van
didn't
Dyke
love
and
me as much as your parents loved you. We've established that.
I think it's more that they know how to they like were like, here's something on TV. Go watch this. Be quiet. It's a musical with Dick Van Dyke.
Mm.
And there's a child's collector. Like there's a person who steals children.
Oh, well, that sounds fun.
I mean, there's something about I don't know when that movie was made, but like kids movies from the 70s and 80s.
Have really dark undertones.
Oh my gosh, so dark. When you think about like Labyrinth though,
Yeah.
like he stole her baby brother. That's I also could have made that reference. We could have done Labyrinth. Ugh, opportunities lost.
Yeah.
Mm.
Do
I've also
you?
had way too much coffee today. I'm channeling my Karen from Around the Twist
Oh,
with my coffee love. All right, what else do I have? Oh, I have spinning. Not a ton, but I did finish all 4 ounces of the Spotted
okay.
Circus alpaca. This is a
This is a
marine.
single, right?
These are singles. It's going to be chain plied.
Okay.
So I wanted it to be self striping,
Okay. That's a good
and
idea.
that'll allow this to self stripe. So it's her stained glass merino series. Um, and so it's black with like this neon color. I think this colorway is neon berries. And hopefully next week I will chain ply it and you will get to see this. It's really, really pretty. It's nice
Yeah.
and like 80s neon though,
Mhm.
which I kind of love. And it's got it's like 80% merino, 20% nylon, but it's that nylon sparkle.
Yeah, Firestar or something in it, right?
Yeah, something like that. Um so I'm super excited for this. And then on the wheel right now, which you guys can't see, it's over there, is on my ladybug, and this was spun on the ladybug as well. I started spinning Into the World. I'm in their club, and their March colorway was like Sealy Quartz. So
Mhm.
it's blues and purples and greens.
And that's a Faye reference, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And it's on a Rambouillet base. So nice and bouncy. And I split that on one of my Instagram lives. Someone was asked a question about like, what do you do with a braid of fiber? Like,
Mm.
how do you take that braid and make it something that you can spin? So I showed how I split in the middle, which is totally a JC Boggs.
Yep.
Um, and that's
Trick.
not her last name, Faulkner.
Yeah.
Um, trick, and then I divided it to spin fractally. And I used the Jillian Marino trick where you knot just a loose knot on the ends so that you know which end is your starting end,
Mm.
which I love. That's a great trick too. And then we also divided for a bat on that live as well. So how do you take a bat and divide that into something you can spin? So I have a knit spin farm bat that I divided but haven't spun yet because I'm still spinning that CVM
Mm.
and will be spinning that CVM, I feel like, for the rest of my life. Like I keep making bats, and I swear the bag of fiber is not getting
Yeah.
smaller.
It doesn't, like, you can take, it's funny because you can take, a couple of big handfuls of the fiber, and then it's tedious to make a bag because you have to break everything open and gently feed it through and all this. But when you're done, what started out as like this big ends up being this big
because
because
it
there's so
carves it
much
open.
air,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
into
I've
it.
spun at least 12 ounces.
Hmm.
And I think I had 22 ounces to begin with. But that bag is still super full. Like, I don't know what's happening. But I do need to really work on that because I want it off the wheel. I want that sweater spin.
Yeah,
Like, because it should be enough to do at least the body of a sweater, and I might have to do like a yoke
colorwork
sweater.
yoke or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but I want it, and it's
Mhm.
gonna be a 3-ply. But I also want to spin all these gorgeous knit spin farm bats that are coming in, and I love spinning those on my Saxony, my
Mm.
Reeves, and no other wheel will do apparently.
Only the best for Joanna.
Only that wheel can be used. Do I have another 6 wheels in this house? Yes. Can I use any of them? No. But in my defense, 4 of them do have projects on them. So, and 2 of which are sweater spins. It's never freaking ending.
Do you want to show the socks that you cranked for me? The tubes that you cranked for me? Are they
Yeah,
in that
they're
room?
over on the other side. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Hold on. Now you can
Okay.
talk all about me because I'm taking off
Okay.
my. Okay.
I want to see the tubes because I'm impatient. So Laura offered to crank them for me on the last VKN or something. So totally took her up on that.
I'm gonna do what?
I said I took you up on your offer to crank some tubes for me.
Yeah, so I'm gonna show the 3 that I cranked for me first,
Okay.
then I'll show yours. So this is Knit and Bro. That's the jawbreaker that I got at Fiber in the Burrow from House of Yarn. He's from Pennsylvania, and so he does these really cool jawbreakers, and then it comes with like a different color for the heels and toes and cuffs, and it's that blue.
That's cool.
So it's this cool speckly. It's perfect for cranking. And then I have that blue, and I divide all mine in half by rows. And then let's see what else I have. I have some Vesper.
Mm.
I can't remember the name of this one. And I think I threw out the tags because I'm a super prepared podcaster. And then I have some Into the World.
That's pretty.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I can't remember the name of that one either.
Shocking. I feel like
Um,
it was a pop culture reference,
it
like
was. It's one of the pop
punk
culture
or
ones.
on fleek, maybe.
No, this is a purse one. Something with a purse, I think. I can't
Purse
remember.
first, maybe.
It's not purse first, but that is an amazing colorway. Bob the drag queen is everywhere right now,
Mm.
and it makes me so happy. So he's doing lives a lot, but he's in that new HBO series that
Yeah.
comes out in a week and a half. And do I need a new drag queen series? Yes, I do. Because Leslie won't watch Drag Race with me until we're together again, and we're 4 weeks behind.
But on the plus side, that means we can binge. Like,
And then also that same week that the HBO series premieres, there's Celebrity Drag Race,
oh yeah.
also with Bob the Drag Queen. I'm super excited. All right, you want to talk about your tubes?
Well, I just want to see them.
Okay, I can do this. So the very first one was a fishnets, and it didn't have a colorway name.
I think it was Harlequin. That's
It was
pretty.
already wound in a ball.
Yeah, I think it was Harlequin. Cool.
So that's that, and it's divided. It was kind of a jerk too. But that wasn't a weight issue. That was it didn't like the dark gray for some reason issue.
Mm.
But and I divided it in half. So like there was a problem right here and a problem here and a problem here and a problem here. So I figured you rip back
Yeah.
like the stuff anyways. So I figured that might be good Kobe socks. All right. And all your tags and everything and all your extras
Oh
are
yay.
in this bag. I also threw in extras of the SSK colorways that you left here.
Okay.
like little leftovers of that, and then
Yeah.
some Knit Spin Farm socks that I finished that I had leftover balls. I threw those in there too, so you can make your
Cool.
socks longer if you wanted.
Okay.
All right, so this is Coloring Book Yarns. This is my favorite, I think.
Yeah. It's the BMO, right?
No, this is Autumn Mint.
Oh yeah.
You already knit your BMO.
Yeah, you're right. I cranked it.
And then this is Quarry,
Oh, that's pretty.
and it's one of her holiday colorways.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forget. It's a Christmas one, but I forget what it was called.
It was either Christmas or Hanukkah, because she does both, which I love. Hold on, I will tell you. This is my tag that made it into your bag. Why can I not find anything today? I'll tell you why. I don't know where that tag went. Oh, there it is. It's red. Peace be upon you.
Oh, okay.
Is the name of that one. And
Cool.
that's a 80/20. And then Silver Linings Playbook by Desert Vista Dye Works.
Ooh, I like that. I'm worried
Sparkle.
about that white, but I like it.
It's not white, it's a light gray.
Oh, okay.
So it's black, yellow, a real light yellow, a light gray, and blue, and it's in the sparkle base. And it did not. The sock machine hated this black for some reason. It
Hmm.
got super grumpy anytime there was a black section. And then here's your poor sad apple picking from Mustache.
Ooh, that's pretty.
So here's the first one, and then there's the second one.
Oh God, what happened there?
I told you that's when it popped off. But I can crank the remaining of that so that you have more. I don't know. I
I'll just.
wanted, besides me like dealing with it and doing something that before talking to you, I wanted to talk to you. Um, but everything's in here too. So
Cool.
I can leave it on my porch whenever you want to come over and get it. Or I can leave it on your porch if I decide to leave my house, which I wasn't planning on doing now for 2 weeks because I got groceries this morning.
Hmm. There, the lady is shopping for mine right now, so that's why I have my phone out.
Um, I didn't get the majority of mine, but then I was driving home and neighborhood Walmart was open and there were only like 5 cars in the lot. And so I popped
Wow.
in and like I didn't get bread from Kroger or tortillas or now y'all need my shopping list.
Mm-hmm.
Frozen fruits or salad mix or it's weird how things come and go.
Yeah.
Um, like I could get tofurkey this week, but 2 weeks ago that was gone. And Kraft mac and cheese and soup was gone 2 weeks ago, but I could get it this week. I can't remember what else. Oh, I couldn't get creamer this week. They didn't
Mm.
have creamer. Whatever for my coffee. I just put milk in it. Um, it's very exciting lives that we lead. We're Animal Crossing and
Grocery shopping.
grocery shopping is like what I base my life around right now. But yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, we haven't talked about reading yet. Go for it.
Oh, okay. Well, Laura mentioned this series to me. I don't remember if it was on a podcast last week or not,
It
but
was 2 weeks ago.
okay. So she mentioned this series by Haley Turner that starts with a fairy of bones and gold. So I read the first one of those and queued up the second one, but I haven't started it, and it was good. It's fantasy male romance. It's got like werewolves and vampires and fae. So I finished the first one. What else? I finished the second of the tarot sequence books by Katie Edwards, and that one was called The Hanged Man. And that one is interesting. It's a fantasy series with some degree of male romance, but that's not a primary thing. And the characters are all well, not all of them, but many of the characters are what tarot cards were based on. So there's like
Oh.
the Sun Throne and the Hanged Man and um, what else? Like The Lovers and
Mhm.
a bunch of other ones. It's relatively
Like Knight
political,
of Cups and stuff.
right? That sort of
Yeah.
thing. Um, it does have some pretty heavy.
Oh god, everything's falling. And Pearl's like, "Mom, what are you doing?" My battery charger for my camera just fell on my head when I bent over to get a stitch marker. But I got a puppy kiss.
Mm. Well, The Hanged Man, I would say trigger warning for abuse and uh, yeah, I would say trigger warning for abuse for that one. I'm currently listening to Heart Song, which is the third in the Green Creek series by TJ Klune.
Yeah.
I'm almost done with it. I've got about an hour and a half left of it.
I like
Um,
that one.
yeah, I mean I've cried once already listening to it, but it's
I've read it a couple times. The
yeah,
end part I've read a couple times, so I won't spoil it for you.
yeah. Thank you.
You're
Um,
welcome.
so I know it ends on a cliffhanger, and the next book doesn't come out until this fall, I think. So, um, and then I'm reading right now The Enchanter's Flame by Michelle Notaro, which is also fantasy, and I think it's male romance. It's hard to tell right now because I just started it, but and I didn't pay any attention when I was looking at like the categories. It just looked like an interesting book. So that's me. What about you?
So, still listening to Mercy Thompson. I'm in the one before the one that just came out, and there's like a sacrifice that the witches make of all this little boys' pygmy goats, and it just made me sad, so I had to stop.
Oh,
Yeah.
aren't there like 12 in that series now?
Oh, there's like 17 or something crazy.
Gosh.
You might be right with 12. It just seems like there's a lot.
Yeah, at that point, yeah.
And also, like, this one specifically, there's an Alpha and Omega, which is another series that she does in the same world that leads into this with the witches. So, it's pretty, like, those two are very, very related. So I took a break from that. And then I read the fourth in the Soulbound series that you were just talking about by Haley Turner,
Okay.
which is male urban fantasy. Really, really good. And then I'm rereading the Shelley Lawrenston Honey Badger series. I just reread the first two. Very, very funny. Male, female shifters. Um, very much jerks. They're honey badgers, yo.
They don't care.
And the third one just came out. So she typically puts out a new of her Shelley Lawrenstons in the spring, usually the last week in March. And then she puts a new G.A. Aiken book out in the fall in her Dragon series. And they've already released the title of the new one in that series. Um, I know you read the last one. I can't remember the name of it. And the G.A. Aiken.
Oh, the dragon one?
Yeah, the dragons. Because they went to the other side of the mountain. So it's a little bit different in this past one. And I'm reading a middle grade book. What? I'm doing my job? What? It is a graphic novel called This Was Our Pact by Ryan Andrews. I am this far in. It is about these four boys who kind of make a pact to follow the lanterns. Every year, their town has a festival where they put lanterns in the river, and they want to follow them because supposedly they're going to become stars.
Mm.
And so one by one they drop off, and there's another boy who's farther back who's like they find the nerdy annoying boy. And at one point it just ends up with the main character and him, and they're the only two left. That's pretty early on. But it reminds me a lot of Spirited Away. Did you ever see that? So it's got that questing motif, which I feel like there's not a ton of questings like motif books anymore. So I was excited to see that. But then there's like the spirit bear that appears with his fish basket, and it's just really, really pretty. It does remind me of that. Um, animation style of, I think his name is Mizrahi. Is that how you say that?
I have no idea.
Um, the guy who did like Kiki's Delivery Service and Spirited Away and all that. People are currently yelling at their screen. Totoro. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, if you're a fan of any of those, I think this would be. And then it brings in like folklore and stories as well. So I'm really enjoying it. I read it outside when it was nice on Friday for a bit, and then Pearl was trying to get through the fence with the little yappy dog that lives behind us, and I had to stop and go inside. Also, it was warm outside because I don't have a cool pergola
I
like
mean,
Leslie does.
it's just a wood frame right now, but
Well, that's good because today we're supposed to get tornadoes, so it's
yeah,
kind of good that it's just a wood frame right now.
it isn't going anywhere though. Let me tell you, Michael built that thing to last. He like dug down 18 inches or something and sunk the posts in concrete and all that. It is not going anywhere.
So I need to buy sandbags for. I have ordered like an umbrella for my
Mm,
backyard, and I'm gonna have to get sandbags so it won't blow away once I actually get it out there. Favorite things: Animal Crossing. I convinced Leslie to also play Animal Crossing.
yeah. So now that's also a reason why I have less knitting this week. Um, because it's like
Tom
another
Nook.
job sometimes. But
It
um,
is.
I just wish I could play it and not have to interact as much as I have to. Like you earn miles and bells if you talk to your neighbors every day and if you
They
complete
also
these little
gift you stuff.
quests. Yeah, and they do sometimes give you stuff. But basically, I just want to kick them off my island. I don't want neighbors. Um, but it's
Tom Nook would
interesting.
not be on board with that.
I know. And as soon as I paid off my travel, my tent, he's like, "Hey, you want to buy a house? You want a
Yeah.
mortgage for 200,000 bells, don't you?"
Hey, you want to add a different color roof to your house and
Yeah,
another room? I got you covered.
yeah. So I don't know my code or whatever. I need to look that up. Um,
Yeah,
so
mine's on my Instagram. I posted a
yeah.
picture of it
I'll
because
see
I'm
if I
too
can
lazy to
get them
actually type it out.
and put them in the show notes. Put a link in the show notes.
Yeah.
Um,
We're having issues though. We think so. Michael has this blocker on the internet.
it's intended to be an ad blocker to make us see fewer ads, but so far it's basically just making my life difficult.
And it won't let me journey to other people's islands. So
I'll
I
make them.
we're gonna play with it later.
Okay.
Because I
Um,
need to get your code in front of you anyways.
yeah, I
So
don't even know where how to get my code, so
I'll
I'll have
walk
to
you
ask.
through it.
Yeah. You've been doing Instagram lives, right?
I have. So Monday through Saturday, although I took yesterday off because I had to crank tubes for Leslie and wind yarn for Leslie, and it was very demanding, but I also had to do other things. So usually Monday through Saturday, and it was a holiday weekend, I have been going live at noon central every day, and we discuss different things. Sometimes I have guests on, like Rick from Whimsy Stitches was on. Amy Florence usually pops on once a week. Who else? Spotted Circus has been on. I'm trying to get Jillian to come on. We'll see. So it's not just me making content. So as long as at least this next week, I will be going live Monday through Saturday. Supposedly we're going back to school the following week.
Huh. Is that right?
That hasn't changed yet.
Well, I mean, I know they haven't announced an extension to the stay at home, but I assumed they would.
It hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
So, and the governor's stay at home expires on that same day on the 20th, like that morning. So we'll see. Um, the school board and that has to vote on stuff. So they typically meet on Wednesdays. So we'll probably find out Wednesday what's going on.
Okay.
Um, so that's coming up. What else is happening? Knitter's Pride Needles. So Stephanie, who works for Knitter's Pride, she contacted us and told us, I forwarded you that email,
Mhm.
correct? That Knitter's Pride prefers that you return the needles to the store that you bought them. But if that's not doable, like if you bought them on vacation or whatever else, they will actually work with you to get needles replaced. They do have a needle replacement policy. So I wanted to make sure that we were relaying that information to all of you because I know someone else on the YouTube
Yeah.
said she also had a needle break. So you just need to contact Knitter's Pride. Now they are in India,
Mhm.
and because of the pandemic, responses might be slower than usual, but just something to think about.
But
And
it's
then
good that they stand behind their needles. That's good to
yeah,
know.
definitely. And then I've been revisiting some of my old patterns because I've had some questions about socks on a plane. So I think I am going to actually do a step-by-step heel turn for socks on the plane if people are interested in that. If you are, just let me know and I'll type that up real fast. But right now it's like continue in this manner after
Mhm.
5 or 6 rows. So if people are interested in having a step-by-step, I can totally do that as well. And that's a freebie. It's an old one. I don't publish patterns much anymore, just because my life is pretty busy, even in the pandemic. I'm still working every day. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We're not wearing anything because it's super warm here. I
Yeah,
think
it
we're
is.
not going to really be wearing much anymore,
Yeah.
um, because it is in the 70s and 80s here. It's
By
actually in the
that, Laura means
70s today.
knitwear, not
Yep.
clothing in general.
I mean, there's a pandemic going on.
There's too many folds here. I need clothing to separate them.
There's not been another human being in this house for 4 weeks almost.
Yeah.
So it's just Pearl and I. Clothing Conservation Month is going on. We're gonna order a new book. I'm mending, which I'm super excited about. I need to give you a book list, but I am going to work on mending these socks.
I have several pairs of socks that have holes in them that I need to mend.
So I don't even know where they are. But yeah, I have a hole in this somewhere. These nomadic knits that need to be mended. Oh, it's on that side. Maybe it's on one of the sides, I think. Um, oh no, it's right there. Right there. I have
Yeah,
that
I've got
ribbing.
that's happened to me several times too.
So I have to mend that. I'll probably just rip out the ribbing and reknit it back up. I think I have some of the yarn here, but I have some other things to mend, and I have some like mittens that I knit 4 years ago that I never woven in the ends on and stuff like that.
That's
So
shocking to me.
also I have stuff to wash and put away and do other things. Ren Bird Men's on Instagram has some really cool visible mending tutorials. If you're into visible mending, she would be one that I would definitely follow. And then we'll do a book review when that book gets here. And I can pull out some of our other mending books that I have here. And I'm sure you have mending books at
I have
your
one
house
or two.
too.
Yeah,
That we can discuss. Stash Dash is coming up. What is happening in my life?
I know.
Will be here May in like a month almost.
Mhm.
May 22nd. So we will put up things to vote on probably pretty soon. I'll probably open that thread this week. If I don't, yell at me, y'all kindly. Um and then we'll do the voting and then do the stash dash video like halfway through May. So that's coming up pretty soon. And I think that's about it.
Yeah, I think so too.
We've got to go play Animal Crossing. It's very important.
Yeah, well, yeah. I have to comfort my dogs who were not thrilled with how bad the weather was last night.
No, it's still bad. Like you guys heard the thunder. It's still not super happy. We have a low risk of tornadoes this afternoon.
It's just the weather changed so dramatically. Like it went from 80s to 40s.
Mm.
Um, and I'm not a weather guy. I could get Michael in here to explain it to you, but 2 minutes in, everybody would just turn it off. So um, I know I would. Uh, anyway, yeah, I think that's it.
All right. I'll talk
All right.
to you later. You'll have to come
Yep.
visit my island.
Digitally from a
Yes.
safe distance. All
Yes.
right. Well, you guys have a good week, and we'll talk to you next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.